Hello, I'm Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney Dan Laren, here once again with the case of the week. We typically chase a relatively small number of defendants who commit a relatively large number of crimes, and this occurs mostly in property crimes. Thefts, receiving stolen properties, LFAs, things of that nature constitute a significant part of what we do as police and prosecutors to try to keep our community safe. I'm going to ask Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney Katie Mattingly to tell us about a particular property criminal that she had who shows this sort of thing. Katie, can you tell us about your latest case?
Sure. My latest case involved a defendant named Scott Dameron. Earlier this year and in late 2011, there was a rash of home burglaries. In February of this year, police got tipped off that he may have been involved in these burglaries somehow, at least had some of the property. They went to the property where he was living, and in the attic of that property they found a ton of items that were stolen, bags full of jewelry and electronics, as well as some other items, tools. He was eventually charged for 7 counts of receiving stolen property felony and 1 count of misdemeanor receiving stolen property. He was also a persistent felony offender in the 1st degree, so he was charged with that as well.
What type of property was this, and were you able to talk to any of the victims or figure out what the approximate value of these items was?
We were able to determine an approximate value for 7 of those counts, which exceeded $500, which was why it was a felony. A lot of the victims couldn't be contacted because there were so many items, it couldn't be determined where those items had come from. There's a lot of jewelry, watches, televisions, computer products, some musical instruments.
Okay.
A lot of things.
Did the investigators have any indication what Dameron wanted to do with this property?
I believe that they thought he was getting this property and he was going to sell it to support a drug problem he may have had.
Okay. So how did the case progress through the system?
The case progressed pretty quickly. He actually pled guilty within about 6 months. He pled guilty to 1 count of receiving stolen property that was a felony. It was enhanced by the PFO, so he pled to 10 years. He pled to 1 year on another count, and then he pled to 12 months on several misdemeanors.
Now I'm going to ask you what Scotty Dameron's criminal history is like.
It's pretty extensive. He's about 35 years old, and he's got 20 or so prior convictions. Most of them are theft or burglary related.
And was he on any form of supervision when he committed these crimes?
He was on probation when he committed these crimes.
And what is his track record for prior probations?
He has had 3 or 4 probation violations in the past prior to this.
So what happened at the sentencing of this particular case?
He was sentenced to 10 years and the 1 year to run concurrently, and those were probated for 5 years. He was told that he had to finish the Hope Center program in jail as well as complete drug court.
So, given his record and the nature of this offense, the court sentenced him to drug court?
Yes, 5 years probated in drug court.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another property criminal. I guess we'll have our probation officer be yet another law enforcement official that will keep an eye on Scotty Dameron until he commits his next property offense. I'm Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney Dan Laren. This has been the Case of the Week.